أعوذ بالله الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. So this is our second lesson tonight, and today we shall be talking about job analysis. But before we start, just a recap of what we did yesterday. Yesterday we were talking about human resource management. We introduced the course. So we define what human resource is, why it is unique, the elements of human resource. Then we also talked about the scope of human resource development. And today we shall be discussing about one of the most important areas in human resource management. And this is what is known as job analysis. Job analysis. And job analysis is what is known as in Arabic as at-tahlil al-wadha'if. So as we cover this lesson tonight, these are our lesson objectives. So after reading or covering this chapter, you should be able to do what? Understand why job analysis is important, state the information generated by job analysis, define job analysis and identify features of job analysis, state the important terms in job analysis, elaborate the goals and use of job analysis, define job description and job specification, identify the components of job description and job specification. Then lastly, define job design, its components, benefits, and challenges. So this is the outline of our lesson today. So we'll cover the first part of this lesson, and the other half will continue next week. So today we'll only have one lesson. We'll not have double lesson. We'll only have the first lesson, because today I have some defense. There are some students who are defending their thesis, and I am their supervisor. So I have to be there in the panel. So I will only cover the first part of the lesson. The other half we will cover in our next lesson tomorrow. Now, so in the introduction, al-muqaddimah, so they are telling us job analysis is an essential prerequisite for the effective management of the human resources of an organization. So job analysis is very important in any organization. So it is what then? It is the process of gathering relevant information about a job. In an organization, we have different types or different kinds of job. So job analysis, its main objective is to do what? Is to collect, is to gather, is to assemble all the information about the job. It actually specifies the tasks involved in a job and the factors that influence the performance of that job. So job specification, it specifies the task. For example, if you are a teacher, what are the tasks of a teacher? If you are an engineer, if you are working in a bank, what are your tasks? What are your responsibilities every day? So job analysis helps the organization to define al-maham. So it actually specifies the task involved in a job and the factors that influence the performance of that job. The factors, because when you're working in any organization or when you're working in any place, there are what is known as duruf al-amal, the work condition. So job analysis helps us get that information. So job analysis has application in almost all the HR activities of an organization. All the other activities of all the other HR activities, they depend on job analysis. So it acts as the basis for decision involving. So human resource planning, if we want to plan for a human resource, we need some information about job analysis. If we want to recruit and select employees, then we need some what? We need some information from job analysis. If we want to train and develop our employees, we need some information from job analysis. If we want compensation, if you want to pay our workers, we need some information from job analysis. The same with job evaluation, performance evaluation, career management, health and safety of employees. So all the other elements of the human resource, they depend on information from where? Information from job analysis. That is why we have to cover it. It is the first thing to cover in human resource management. We need to start with job analysis, because all the other areas, they do what? They rely on the output of job analysis. So in reality, the job analysis process involves ascertaining what people do. What are people doing in the organization? So job analysis will help us to know each and every person, what do they do? And understanding why. Why are they doing it? لماذا يفعلون? And how are they doing it? Case. So these three things are very important. So job analysis help us to determine what people do and why are they doing it and how are they doing it. So the job analysis tries to find answers to these three key areas. So these answers enables organization not only in identifying the problem, but also in developing their solutions. So job analysis does not only help in identifying where the problem is, but it also helps in doing what? In developing solutions. So as such, the primary purpose of a job analysis is to provide solutions to virtually all employee-oriented problems in an organization. So job analysis helps us to find solution to all the problems that are related to human beings in the organization. Now, a job analysis should focus on the following aspect to bring out all the critical facts and details about a job. So a job analysis normally focus, these are the aspects that a good job analysis will focus on. So التحليل الوظائف. تحليل الوظائف تهتم بماذا? Number one, duties and tasks. That is المهام. For example, if Mohammed is working in an organization, what Mohammed should do every day? What are the tasks? For example, if you are a teacher in school, what are your tasks every day when you go to school? Then what are your specific tasks and duties? So the job analysis help us. Number two, the environment, al-bi'atul amal. When, for example, you are working in a school, how is the working environment? Is the environment toxic? Is the environment good? إلى غير ذلك. So work environment, such as the temperature, is it hot? That is why in some organizations, their offices, they have the AC, the air conditioner, because the environment is very important. If you're working in a good environment, then your workput will be very good. And for example, odor means the smell. In some offices, even the smell is very bad. And hostile people. You go to the organization, the environment is very toxic, a lot full of stress, So job analysis also help us when it comes to creating a better working environment. Tools and equipment. If you're working in the organization, what do you need to do your work? Because these are the tools. If you don't have these tools, you cannot work. For example, a farmer. When a farmer goes to the farm, he needs some tools so that he can do his or her work efficiently and effectively. Then number four, relationship, al-alakat, relationship with internal and external people. So job analysis will help us as an organization to determine what is the relationship of our worker inside with the people who are inside the organization, and what is your relationship with the people who are working outside. For example, in a school, if you are a teacher, what is your relationship between the teachers, the management inside? Then externally, What is your relationship with the parents, for example? What is your relationship with the government, for example? So the job analysis will help actually in that line. Then we have requirements. So job analysis also help us to know what, if you're a teacher, what knowledge should you have before you start teaching? What skills should you have if you're working in a bank? What capabilities should you have? So all these things, because you need all these things to perform the job successfully, you know? Okay. Now, why job analysis is important? Why is tahlil al-wada'i very important? You know? So, due to swift changes in external environment factors like technology, labor market condition, and competition, the characteristics and requirements of jobs in the organization often undergo changes. This point is very important. I need you to understand and absorb it. Remember yesterday, I told you that al-bi'a tataghayyar, the environment, the organization, they're working in an environment. The environment is not stable. The environment keeps changing. As the environment keeps changing, even the job also changes. So, for example, our environment now, the people are moving toward AI. So, how is this AI affecting our job in the organization? Some people are going to lose their job. Why? Because the AI is going to replace human beings. So this is the dynamics that is. So that is why job analysis is very important. So in such an environment that is changing every day, it becomes necessary for an organization to conduct a job analysis to know the impact of the changes on the requirement and the nature of the job. So as an organization, we need to do a job analysis so that we know these changes. How are these changes impacting, impacting the what? The requirement and the nature of the jobs in our organization. For example, if we are having AI, how is it going to affect the jobs in the organization? How is it going to change the dynamics in the job inside the organization? So, mathalan, some of the employees, they will have to be trained so that they do what? So that at least they have some skills in AI. Some of the workers will have to tell them, Masalam, we don't need you anymore. Some of the work will have to combine some of the work or the task. So they're telling us, so what? Thus, a job analysis helps the organization in assessing how environmental changes affects the individual jobs. Of course, the purpose of a job analysis is multidimensional in nature, and it involves studying different aspects of a job. So that is the answer to this question. So if somebody asks you, why is job analysis important? The answer is the environment in which we are living in is changing. And these changes in the environment have impact on the jobs of Mohammed and Khadija inside the organization. So that is why we need to do what? To do the job analysis. Now, information generated by job analysis. So when we are doing when you are doing a job analysis, what is the output? What is the output? So this is what information generated. What is the output of this al-amaliyah? So the job analysis process is capable of generating a wealth of information for an organization. This information is usually classified into 3 categories. So when we do a job analysis, we are going to get 3 results, 3 outputs. Number 1 is job content. When we are talking about job content, we are talking about al-muhtawa al-wazifa, al-muhtawa. Then when we are talking about job context, we are talking about al-bi'atul amal, bi'atul amal. Then number 3, job holders requirement. Job holders requirement here, ibara and mutatalibat al-amal. The person who is working, what does the person needs to have? That is why in many advertisements, when people are advertising their job in Facebook, in LinkedIn, you will find there is what is known as job description and job specification. So this job analysis is the one that gives us the information for the job description and the job specification, as we shall later look maybe next week about job specification and job analysis. So what is job content? Job content refers to the actual activities, al-maham. Job content refers to al-maham performed in the job in the job being analysis. If you are a teacher, what do you normally, what are the tasks? If you are a banker, when you go to the bank every day, if you're an accountant, what are your responsibilities? So when they're advertising the job, they will always have what is known as the job specification, like job description. The person who will get this job will be required to do what? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Number 2 is job context. Bi'atul amal refers to the condition, al-dhuruf, in which the job is done. ثم أخيرا, job holders requirement. It refers to the worker's eligibility requirement. This is what is known as, it is known when they are advertising the job, this is what is known as the job specification. Like, what skills should you have? What level of education should you have? What training should you have? So that is why it is called the job holders. This requirement is related to you. What do you need to have? Do you need to have a degree? Do you need to have masters? Do you need to have PhD? How many years of experience should you have? The training, seminars, ila ghayri dhalik. So this is just the same thing, you know. So it is all about the job content, which is the work activities, the specific activities that make up a job, you know. Then we have the job context, which is the work contents, the internal and external environment of the job. Then we have the job holders requirement, the worker attributes, the qualities workers need to do the job. So this is the end result of what? This is the end result of the what? The output of the job analysis. Okay. Now ta'arif. Now there are many definitions. Many scholars have provided different definitions, but all these definitions, yes, the wording are different, but al-madhmun, the objective is just the same. So number 1, they are telling us job analysis is what? It's a process. This process involves what? Gathering relevant information about various aspects of a job, including those things we have said: content, context, and the job performance skills requirement. Full stop. Number 2, the second definition. Job analysis involves gathering data about the same thing, but in different words, but they mean the same thing, about observable job behaviors, you know, and delineating the knowledge and skill. This is the job performance requirement. Or job analysis is the process by which data in regard to each job is systematically observed and noted. It provides information about the nature of the job, the characteristics or qualifications that are desirable in the job role. Or job analysis is the systematic process of determining the skills, duties, and knowledge required for performing jobs in an organization. So if you look at all these definitions, they're just basically telling us these 3 things. So when you're defining job analysis, you need to mention the job content, job context, job holders requirement. You need to mention this: job content, job context, job holders requirement. So that is the scope of the job analysis. So, and this is a comprehensive definition. Like job analysis is the process of collecting, analyzing, and setting out information about the content of jobs in order to provide the basis for a job description. So it helps us to do what? To have a very good job description and data for the recruitment, because when you are recruiting, you need to have information. What kind of person do you need in your organization? So when you are advertising the job, you need to have the job description. For example, training. If you want to train, what kinds of skills do you want? So it provides some information about training, job evaluation, and even performance management. Now, so from this definition, from all the definition, so what do we get from this definition? After all the definition, what are the features of job analysis? ما هي الخصائص from all this definition? Number one, we learn that job analysis is a process of gathering relevant information about various aspects of a job. So job analysis help us to get relevant information. Relevant means what? Key information about any job. Number two, it approaches the task of defining the role, context, condition, human behavior, performance, standard, and responsibility. Job analysis help us to define. If, for example, you are a banker or an accountant, it defines the context. It defines basically those three things: the content, the context, and the workers' skills and knowledge. Then it helps in establishing the job's worth. Worth means what? قيمة العمل. قيمة العمل. So you find that in an organization, we have some jobs that are very important and some jobs they are not important. So the very important jobs, people are being paid good money for the important jobs. But for example, if you are working down there, it means that your job, you don't have a lot of responsibility. So somebody can ask, why is this manager getting a lot of money up there? It is because they have a lot of responsibility. And maybe, so you cannot compare the world. You cannot compare, for example, the governor with the local council here. The governor has a lot of responsibility. Or you cannot compare the minister, the salary of a minister with the salary of an MP. So shatama bainahuma. Why? Because the word, the value, the qima of the worth of their work is not the same. Then it establishes job relatedness. Job relatedness means some works sometimes there are some works that are related. So the work that are related, we put them together. The works that are not related, we don't put them together. So it helps us a lot. Because many organizations, what they normally do a mistake of doing what? Different people are doing the same work. That is what is known as izdiwajiyat al-maham, duplication of work. Muhammad, Ali, they're doing the same work and they're being paid. So why are three people in the organization doing the same job? Why can we combine all the tasks, we give it to somebody, and we increase their salary? For example, if you are paying Muhammad 200, Yusuf 200, and Ali 200, and so that is 600, and they're doing the same work. Why can we not combine all this work and we give it to maybe Muhammad, and we give Muhammad maybe 400? Okay, and we save, the organization is going to save the 200 instead of having three people doing routine work in the organization. So these are the features of job analysis. Now, another feature of a job analysis, it assists in the resource management and strategy formulation process of the organization. So remember, in an organization, we have resources. Resources means money. So how are we going to allocate this money? So job analysis will help us to know, like, how many tasks do we have? Because we are paying, the organization is going to pay the people who are working in those tasks. So job analysis is going to help us when it comes to salary, when it comes to the mukafaat, ila ghairi dhalik. How do we do what? How do we allocate our resources? Then number 6, it helps in developing a job profile for each job. In any organization, we have what is known as job profile. Like every job has a profile. If you go to an accountant, has his profile. If you go to the marketing manager, he has his own profile. If you go to the basa ila ghairi dhalik. So the job analysis, it helps us when we are creating a job profile. Then number 7, it helps in identifying the appropriate job for each employee. And this is very important. It normally helps in the idea of وضع الشخص المناسب في المكان المناسب. So job analysis will enable us. Mohammed is very good in computer. Let us put him where, let us put him in the right place. Another person is very good, for example, in marketing, in designing. Let us put that person in the right place. So وضع الشخص المناسب في المكان المناسب. Then also, another feature of job analysis, it facilitates the process of understanding the impact of environmental changes on individual jobs. Like, this is what we said in the introduction. The environment is changing. So job analysis help us to know how is this environment affecting the job, the individual jobs inside the organization. Then it assists the organization in identifying and removing unnecessary skills and other requirements for a job. So job analysis help us to identify and remove unnecessary skills. Sometimes we normally have in an organization unnecessary skills. For example, when you find that, for example, you are working in an organization, there are some organizations, when they are advertising their jobs, they write a lot of skills that are not even related to the job, because they just want to make it difficult. So sometimes it's not all about just writing this. You have to have leadership skills, communication skills, report writing skills, a lot of unnecessary skills for the job. So the job analysis helps us to remove these unnecessary skills. If you are an accountant, you just need communication skills and report writing skills. Full stop. But sometimes you find that they put a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of unnecessary skills. Then lastly, it enables the organization to attempt job improvement through job re-engineering and job enlargement. So job analysis help us to improve what? To improve our jobs in the organization. And there is what is known as job re-engineering and job enlargement. We will discuss about this next week, maybe. About the job re-engineering and the what? And the job enlargement. Now, so there is what is known as job analysis information hierarchy. And this is what is known as al-haram al-waram al-waram al-tahlil al-waram al-haram li-tahlil الهرم لمعلومات تحليل وصف لتحليل الماذا الوظيفة. So if you're working in an organization, you need to know these terminologies, So when you work in any organization, you need to know these terms because they will really help you to know what is expected from you. So sometimes when they tell you job element, what is a job element? If they tell you a task, if they tell you a duty, if they tell you this is your position in the company, if they tell you this is your job, if they tell you this is a job family, if they tell you this is an occupation, this is your career. So all this, you have to know this because it is related to the jobs in an organization. And it is very important. So number one, there is what is known as a job element. So a job element is the smallest segment unit in which work can be divided. So for example, putting the tomato on a hamburger is an example of an element in the job of a fry cook at McDonald's. Putting the tomato on a hamburger. So when you are making a hamburger, there are a lot of elements that are involved. So one of the elements is when you are putting tomato inside the hamburger, that is an element. When you are putting something else, it's an element, you know. So every job has an element. Number two, a task. A task is a distinct work activity tallied out for a distinct purpose. For example, examples will include typing a letter. If you are typing a letter, that is a task. If you are writing a report, that is a task in an organization. If you are a teacher, if you are preparing a lecture, that is a task. Or unloading a mail truck. There is a truck that has some mails. When you are removing the luggages from the car, that is a task. Now, a duty is a number of tasks together. A number of tasks together is what is known as what? Is what is known as a duty. For example, counseling student is a duty if a college instructor does it. There is something missing here. So for example, there is this person who is known as al-murshid, somebody who is a counselor in any university. You normally have this office in every university. For example, the office of the students' affair. You know, so it is the duty of the students' affair officer to counsel the students. And counseling the students, there are a lot of tasks inside the counseling. Then number four, hunaka position. So what is a position? A position refers to one or more duties performed by one person in an organization. So there are at least as many positions as there are workers in the organization. Vacancies may create more positions than employees. So when we're talking about a position is when you are advertising a job. So for example, there is the position of an accountant, there is a position of a marketing manager, there is a position of an operating manager, ila ghairi dhalik. So we normally advertise the position so people can fill the position in an organization. Then you have a job. A job is a type of position within the organization. For example, if a large insurance company employs 60 life insurance actuaries, then there are 60 positions, but just one insurance actuary job. So here, they are telling us, for example, we have a large insurance company. It's just like, for example, we have a school, for example, like Alpha University. So Alpha University can employ 20 teachers, you know. So these are 60 positions of teachers, but it is under one job. The job, so they are advertising, the job they are advertising for what? For the job of a lecturer, or the job of a teacher, you know. But there can be very many teachers in different departments, you know, but the job is a lecturer, but the positions are different. Maybe the faculty of computer, we have the faculty of what? The faculty of management, we have the faculty of nursing, ila ghairi dhalik. Then we have a job family. Job family is a group of two or more jobs that either call for similar worker characteristics or contain parallel work tasks as determined by what? By job analysis. So sometimes jobs in an organization, they are grouped according to job family. So when the work or the job they are related, for example, 3 departments, they are doing some work that is related. We call that a family. So 3 departments, they are doing, their work is almost the same. You see? Then you have an occupation. An occupation is a group of similar jobs. These similar jobs found across organization. For example, electrician, accountant, and service maintenance engineers are some examples. Then lastly, we have a career. A career represents a sequence of position, jobs, or occupation that a person has over his or her working life. A career is now the overall. What has been your career? So when somebody asks you this question, what is your career? I was a teacher. Then I went to do, after teaching for 2 years, I went to business. After finishing the business, I did my master's. So the career is basically your journey. Okay? So now, this is where we will stop today. So in our next lesson, we will start in the concurrent and parallel tasks. This is where we will start next week. So today I have some other tasks that I have to do. So this will be the end of our lesson. Okay. So what we will do, I will send the what? I'm going to send the form. Now I will send the form and I will give you 3 minutes to fill the form. Then I will not accept any other. Yesterday, there are some students, I don't know what is their problem. They don't get the instruction. I told you I'm going to send the attendance link. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Take the attendance, submit your attendance. Then I blocked the link. Some students are coming to inbox. These are the students who are absent. Oh, teacher, I'm trying the link. It is not going through. It is not going through because you are absent. You did not attend the lesson. Or you did not follow the instruction. So I will not reply your message. Some students, they were sending message to me. I cannot reply your message because it means you did not understand the instruction. The instruction is very simple. I'm going to send a link. Just click the link, write your name, submit. That is your attendance. So don't send a message to me, hey, teacher, I don't see my name. It is because either you are absent, and it is not fair. You are absent. How do you want to be the same like the students who attended the lesson? Even there are some students, they always come late in the lesson. There are some students, they just come for the attendance in this lesson. They don't come to gain knowledge. You just find them, you start the lesson, you are around 15. When the lesson is ending, you are 29. So some of them are just waiting for the attendance. So why are you doing your master's if you just want certificate? You can just wait. You will be given the certificate. You are not attending to gain knowledge. You are just attending to gain the attendance. You are just lying to yourself. You need to be attending the lesson so that at least when you get the certificate,